going on, YouTube? Just thought I'd do a video of things I love about my truck. Take my gum out here so you can actually understand me. Alright. First thing, I love the sound of it. Let's listen to this. Oh, slipping. Still slippery. Still slippery. But yeah, it sounds great, you know, and it doesn't even have the TRD intake or the TRD air filter. It just has the TRD axle back that you get with the Pro, you know. But it sounds great. It's not drony. I'm on the highway now. What are we doing here? 110. Like, it's nice and quiet. But it still gives you that rumble, you know? It doesn't sound like a V6 to me. It sounds muscular. It sounds truck-like. It sounds proper. You know? And the sound really goes with how this truck feels to drive. For me anyways, I feel invincible in this truck. Like, I feel like I can drive over anything. I feel like I can go through anything. It feels very, very well built. It just, you know, it feels solid. And I love how it revs very smoothly. Now, I don't know if that's the oil, because it's a very thin, full synthetic oil. But it revs super smoothly, and right around 3,000 RPM. When you're giving some gas, you can really hear that engine note change, and it loves to rev. You know, it loves to rev, but you don't have to rev it. You still have enough power down low, still not enough torque. Now, it's not designed for towing, right? So, but for off-roading, everyday driving, you know, back roads, all the stuff I'm going to be doing with it, it's enough power, for sure. Another thing I just noticed, now, I've driven the automatic as well, and when you're on a bit of an incline and the roads are icy, you flip it into 4 high, and sometimes it takes a few seconds before it actually kicks into 4 high. Now, with the automatic, sometimes it helps the system to put it in neutral, you know, quickly, and then it kicks into 4 high faster. With this, because it's the manual, you know, I just put the clutch in a little bit, and the same with when I'm switching it back to 2 high while I'm driving, I just put the clutch in and then do it, and it's much more smooth. Now, I don't know, when you put the clutch in, you're just getting the transmission, obviously, and the flywheel and such, but it seems to help the transition from 4 high to 2 high when the truck's in neutral. It's a lot more smooth and much quicker. Sticking with the manual, I didn't think I'd use this button, but I used it today. So that's the clutch start button. Sorry, clutch start cancel button. Down beside the auto headlights and the bed outlet. Yeah, it's really nice, because sometimes you just want to make sure your truck's in neutral, right? And then you press that button, and then you can just reach in and turn the truck on like it was on an automatic. You don't need to jump up and put your foot in the clutch. You know, it's cool. And I've seen on off-roading videos that when you have the truck in forward low and you're on a steep incline and you stall, if you leave it in gear and just hit that clutch cancel button and start it, you're not going to roll back at all, right? You're just going to start right away, and you're not going to stall because you're in first gear low. You don't need to put any gas on. It'll crawl right up stuff, which is also really cool because you get a lower gearing with the manual compared to the automatic. You know, I'm probably not going to do any crazy rock crawling, but I can see that as a benefit for sure. And it's neat too to be able to allow the truck to pull you along, you know, without having to put any fuel on, and you're in first gear and you're not stalling. It's neat. I actually really like the radio, the sound system. There's a coyote. Lots of coyotes around here. Yeah, I actually really like the sound system in this. Now, at first, I was super disappointing. I'm going way too fast. I was super disappointed that I didn't get the JBL audio. You know, you don't get that in Canada if you choose the manual. I believe in the States you can get the manual and then choose the technology package or whatever and get all the other stuff, but in Canada you don't get that. So yeah, the speakers, they're not JBL, it's not a premium audio, but I really like the sound of it. It's great. It's all I need. Now, I don't really like heavy bass. I like a clear voice and that kind of stuff. So maybe if you like a heavy bass, then you wouldn't like the sound system. But you know, Toyota's done a very good job with their stock sound system, and really the overall layout of the instrument cluster to the, you know, the TAC. You know, you can scroll through, see your distance to empty, which is spot on, by the way. Now, I think this is a Toyota thing, because it's the same on my wife's Lexus, where she fills up and say it says 650 kilometers till empty. But that's true. And same with this. Usually it's, when I fill up, I think it's 550 kilometers, I believe. And it's very spot on compared to my Miata. Sometimes when I fill up, it's 650, 600, sometimes it's 680, 700, but it's usually 100 kilometers off. Now that changes, and on average, but for this, it's been spot on. I know if I drive more spiritedly, you know, and give more fuel and stuff, that's not going to be exact, but it changes. One pet peeve though, so I don't like radar cruise control. I like just the normal cruise control. So I have to hold that button for a second or two to get the normal cruise control. But it's fine. And this video is not about the negatives, because yes, with any vehicle there's gonna be negatives. You can't buy something that checks all the boxes you want. You know, it's really impossible. But this has way more positives than negatives, for me anyways. Another thing, that the overall driving experience. Now, if you want to lumber along, take your time, you know, it's perfectly fine doing that. But if you want to drive fast, rev it out, and even carve some corners, it handles well. Like it does. You know, it does feel a little heavy, right? It's a big truck. To me, anyways, it's a big truck. I know it's a mid-size, but it handles well, and it can be very fun to drive. You know, that's something that I wasn't really expecting. But if you're looking for on-road, fun to drive, you know, truck, mid-sized truck, the Frontier definitely has that. But it's gonna lack off-road. And I bought this for off-roading, going up those logging roads. You know, I'm instead of walking, you know, parking the truck on the road and walking, I'm driving right into the woods. You know, it allows you to get further, and safely too. I've owned a Toyota before. It was a '94 Corolla, but that was the only Toyota I've ever owned. After that, it's all been Hondas for the most part, before my Miata. Like I said before, my wife has a Lexus. It's fantastic. It's the IS 300 F Sport Blackline Edition. I might actually do a review on that at some point. It's a very nice car, and it's becoming more unique too, because it's all-wheel drive, V6, same engine as this, slightly tuned differently. And yeah, I forgot my train of thought. Oh, Toyota. It's nice. It's a, I guess it's a reassuring feeling, because Toyota stands behind their product. You know, and even, I guess it depends on the dealer, but I went and got my oil change yesterday. First oil change at 2,000 kilometers. They say, you know, your engine goes through the most wear during the break-in period, so you know, and experts recommend changing the oil, you know, around that time instead of going the 10,000 kilometers. And it makes sense, right? You have different metals heating up, cooling down, coming into contact with each other, breaking in. You know, you're gonna have wear. So, and I plan to keep this truck and take care of it. So, you know, why not? And the first oil change is free. But I brought it in, and the techs didn't think I was crazy, you know, changing the oil at 2,000 kilometers. And I asked them to put a couple quarts or liters through, you know, while the oil is draining, like of clean oil through. And they're like, of course, yes, no problem. And they didn't charge me any extra, you know, because that's what they would do if, you know, if they owned the truck. And I put the TRD oil filter on, just cause. You know, why not? Get that extra protection for the, you know, first I guess it'd be second oil change. But yeah, we're just on the off ramp here. Let's give a little sound of this TRD Pro. It's a nice rumble, you know. So I'm right around 3,000 there. And it's not obnoxious, you know. It's not like a Hyundai Veloster with all those pops and stuff. It's not a sports car. It's a truck. And it acts like a truck, like it should. You know, it's got leaf springs, body on frame. I know the 24s are going away from the leaf springs. Yeah, it's gonna ride better, but I don't know. I find simple is better. sounds good. Gears feel good. It's a long throw, but it's fitting. This transmission is fitting to the whole truck. You know, it's not trying to be something it's not. It's just a good, reliable, solid truck.